Arsenal won, Brighton and Hove Albion 3, and Arsenal crash out of the League Cup in the third round at home. Disappointing result, and to be honest, the more disappointing thing was that none of us could watch the game. How a game is not being broadcast anywhere in the world is beyond me. It's one thing having 3 p.m. kickoffs not shown in the UK, but having a game not shown anywhere, it's the first time in a long time. I wasn't even watching the game, I was watching the breakdown. Basically, two people commentate on the Arsenal game. It was like a radio show, basically. So this Arsenal reaction today will be based off what they said rather than myself actually watching the game, which is a bit of a shame. But it is what it is. Unless you were one of the lucky 60,000 people to go live to the stadium, you're literally basing it off what other people say on how Arsenal performed today. But one thing we can say, no matter how we performed, it couldn't have been great because we did lose 3-1 to Brighton Hove Albion. If you did manage to go to the game, let me know how it went in the comment section down below, how Arsenal performed. I'm going to give my analysis on the game based on what the commentators on the Arsenal.com were saying. Let's start by saying Karl Hein in goal. Sorry, mate, it wasn't a great debut. It was his first time playing for Arsenal Football Club. When we selected him, I was like, oh, that's a bit of a strange one. I know Matt Turner's been out recently with injury, etc. And you don't really want to risk Ramsdale in a non-Premier League or Europa League game. But Matt Turner was on the bench, so surely he was fit enough to play. Either way, he chose Karl Hein, Estonian goalkeeper. Wasn't great today. Apparently slipped on the first goal in what ended up bringing down Danny Welbeck for them to win a penalty. So not a debut to really remember for himself. In terms of the rest of the team, it wasn't a weak team by any means. The only starters I'd really say were Saliba that played, and I think that was it in terms of team that I could really see starting for Arsenal Football Club. We had a lot of second string players though. Nketiah, Reece Nelson, Marquinhos, Vieira, Lokonga, El Neni. These are not bad footballers by any stretch of the imagination. They're just not starters for Arsenal in the Premier League. So the fact we're still getting walloped 3-1 by Brighton is beyond me. And it's not like Brighton played their first team either. They had a few second string players in their team. So it just shows there is a bit of a drop off between Arsenal's top team, the team that played on the weekend and absolutely tore Chelsea to pieces, and the team we're talking about now, the likes of the fringe players who are wanting to get more game time. Yet when it seems they're given game time, they never seem to prove or do just enough to get into the Premier League teams. In terms of the actual game itself, Arsenal did take the lead though through Nketiah. It seems a long way away now. Apparently it was a beautiful finish from himself in 20 minutes. But then just under 10 minutes later, Karl Hein of course brings down Welbeck, gives away a penalty. Welbeck, the ex-Arsenal player, sends Karl Hein the wrong way to make it 1-1. And I'm happy for Danny Welbeck. Obviously it did not work out at Arsenal, but he's starting to forge somewhat of a career at Brighton. And look, he deserves it. He's not a bad footballer by any means. You don't play consistently for Manchester United and Arsenal Football Club if you're bad. He's a good striker. He just had the health problems. He was always on the injury list. And if he can look to sustain some kind of healthy run, he'll be looking very good for Brighton. And Brighton have a lot of hopes of doing something quite spectacular this season with their new manager, Roberto De Zerbi. And then it kind of trickled out towards the first half and we go into the break 1-1 and everyone was saying Arsenal need to lift it. The pace wasn't quite at it. A lot of these players haven't played a lot recently, so I understand. But look, that was the first half. We go into the second half and we need to step up our game. And to be fair, going out the blocks in the second half, we did. We looked more confident on the ball apparently. We were more pressing and creating chances. And the goal for Brighton, if anything, came against the run of play this time. Mitoma scored though. I'm a massive fan of him. Looking forward to watching him at the World Cup. The young Japanese 25-year-old winger. Unbelievable he's been looking like. I remember I first saw him when he came off the bench against Tottenham. Brighton did lose that game 1-0 to Spurs, but he was electric when he came off the bench. So it was nice to see him getting a goal, even though it was against us. And then to wrap it up, Tariq Lamptey scores to make it 3-1 to Brighton. And the game fizzles out and Arsenal crash out in the third round. To be honest though, if I wanted us to lose a game, it would be this game. You don't want to lose any game if you support a football team. But I'm not too mad, man. Like, do I really care about the League Cup? No, I don't. Does any Arsenal fan really care about this League Cup? Yes, some. And I know the culture of the football club, you want to win every game. It's about having a winning mentality, a winning culture around the football club. You don't want to treat any game like it's not important. But if you really look on it, this could be a blessing in disguise. Apart from previous seasons, for the first time in a long time, Arsenal are fighting on three fronts. The Premier League, we're gunning for it. Like, no pun intended, we're gunning for this Premier League. We cannot take any prisoners. We cannot afford any injuries or extra fixtures. We've got the Europa League to fight for. Thank God we finished top of the group and we avoided playing an extra game against a Champions League dropout like Man United are doing against Barcelona. So that gives us 2 extra games not to worry about. Because do remember, we've still got that Man City and Everton game to be rescheduled from before the World Cup. So we're going to have some more games this season. So crashing out the Carabao Cup, blessing in disguise, man. Less fixtures to worry about, less rotation, less travelling. Let's just go all of our eggs in the Premier League and Europa League. That's it. I don't even really care about the FA Cup, to be honest. I'm be 100% honest with it, man. It's nice to obviously have a cup run, go to Wembley for the fans, etc. But honestly, if crashing out of the Carabao Cup in the first round and the Carabao and the FA Cup in the first round that we play means that we're going to have a better, fitter squad for the Premier League and Europa League, I'd take that trade-off every day of the week. So look, it's sad to lose our first game at home this season. It's sad to get knocked out of a cup competition, but that's about it. In terms of actually the long-term benefit for this football club, I think the benefit would have been getting knocked out. Like, if anyone said to me, you're going to lose one game this season, I'd say make it the Carabao Cup third round game. Because if we lost in the next round, it makes it useless anyway. So you might as well lose early rather than go all the way to the semi-finals like we did last season and lose there, and then the whole cup run becomes useless anyway. But yeah, I guess that it's sad for the young players because they only would have got game time in this competition. But to be honest, look, it's their fault, man. You didn't win the game when the game was there. You can't be begging for more game time now. Either way, it's a loss against Brighton. Let's just hope we go against Wolves, the last game before the World Cup. Been so lovely to watch my team play this season. We've been unbelievable. Let's get a result at Molineux. Let's beat Wolves and let's go into the World Cup top of the Premier League table. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, this reaction, of course, not like many because I didn't actually manage to watch the game. Not like anyone could because it wasn't broadcasted anywhere. Well done for that. Whoever decided that was a good idea. But yeah, I'm not really going to give player ratings due to that reason because, like, what can I really rate? I didn't watch the game. But of course, my Arsenal reactions will be back properly this Saturday. Arsenal Wolves, which is on TV, is on Sky Sports. Looking forward to that. Arsenal away from home. Can't wait for that. And of course, I'm going to react to it here on YFootball. So if you're new around here and you enjoy Arsenal match reactions, this is the place to be. Make sure you subscribe down below. I've been YFootball and I hope to see you all in my next video.